59J, Neko 9. Let's go. Yeah.
I'm sideways in a bucket ducking 5-0. Homie, are you down the ride? Rims spinning, windows tinted and my eyes low.
Hey, yo, what's good with everybody, man? I hope everybody's having a productive day, feeling blessed. And like I always say, it's one life, one chance. We only got one chance to do this right. Let's get it done. Well, this one right here is going to be a crazy one. And there's way more to the story. So much more. So many more suspects that were identified. But in this particular case, I'm going to give you guys just a general. I'm going to briefly break it down, paraphrase just the overall outcome of certain individuals and what they got charged with and what they got involved with. And then just enjoy the story, man. This is a tripped out story. So with that being said, hit that subscribe button, hit that like, always leave a comment. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section. Check the links in the description for my Apple and Spotify music. Go ahead and run my streams up. And you can check out my playlist section on my YouTube channel and check out my music right there. Thank you guys for you guys' time. Most importantly, thank you guys for you guys' support. So we had an individual who became a Norteño for West Side Boys in the city of Modesto. Modesto always been Norteño territory. But the thing about Modesto, a lot of people don't talk about all over YouTube is that a lot of Norteños are in Modesto, but a lot of Northern Riders have taken over Modesto as well. They go to war with each other like crazy. Plus, you got the Sureños that do live there, that beef with the Northerners. But I want to say the biggest gang war that goes on in Modesto is between the Northern Riders and the Norteños. Also, there's been a lot of street regiment indictments that have taken place within Modesto in the 219 area and the Stanislaus County area. Specifically, an individual named Pizza who wound up, turning state evidence. There was another individual named Rafael. He used to work for Pizza. He was a regiment commander who turned state evidence. A lot of things that went down in the city of Modesto, but this particular case will blow your mind. So this ex-Norteño gets jumped into West Side Boys when he's like 17. Starts pushing weight for the street regiments, selling dope, wholesales, going in and out of county, doing his reports, reporting everything that's going on the streets, how much money he's making, how much dope he's making, who is he answering to, who the regiment commanders of the streets, reporting all his business to the NF every time he went to the county jail. So in about the early 2000s, he gets sent to Susanville, does a little parole bid, gets educated, gains some status. From there, he paroles from Susanville, shows up on the streets, and now he's doing bigger weight. He's mostly selling meth, mostly selling heroin, but he has a plug to the Border Brothers. And the Border Brothers have a plug in Mexico, so he's selling big quantities of dope for the NF Regiment, and he's putting a lot of individuals from his neighborhood, West Side Boys, on. So he's going half with his partner. They're kicking up money to the NF Regiment. Then they're having Norteños from the barrio sell his dope. Just nickel and diming people to death out there on the streets and collecting a substantial amount of money. But during this time, rumors get speculated within the city that he might have burned the Border Brothers. So he might have beef with the Border Brothers. He became enemies with the Border Brothers. But it just so happens he catches a 3-year prison term right back to prison over a possession and dope sales. Just a regular 3 years, small time, nothing major. And the CDCR sends him to Jamestown. Now, in accordance to the Norteño program, Jamestown was always been labeled a no-good yard, a PC yard, SNY yard. And back in the day, when you were sent to a PC yard or SNY yard, Norteños had 72 hours to strap up, get a weapon, pretend like he's going to stay, look for a primary target, a target that's going to earn him stripes, that's going to get him somewhere. Somebody that's been deemed no good, has been a federal informant, that's told on people, you name it. Look for that primary target, take his win, get up out of there and get transferred back to a main line and report to your regiment commander or your household. But instead, he stays there. He decided that he didn't want to be a Norteño no more, wanted to do his time, wanted to do his program, didn't want to catch no more time. Whatever the case may be, stays there and ends up paroling like around 2007. So in 2007, he goes back to the city of Modesto, right back to the west side, right back within his neighborhood. And he did it for like maybe 2 years. He stood clean, tried to be a law-abiding citizen, but obviously the normal life wasn't good enough for him, so he went right back to selling dope. That's all he knew. So he started pushing weight in the streets, pushing weight with his neighborhood. Now, mind you, there's been a lot of occasions during my term and during other prison terms with other people. Sometimes, you get dropped off on these SNY PC yards and you have 72 hours, you're supposed to get off, and individuals stay. Sometimes it's hard to take into account because you're waiting for a response. If you know the individual's going to a bad yard, like, hey, bro, you better write me, shoot me a letter through this 3-way contact, you better report somewhere. So sometimes names don't get added to the BNL because sometimes we don't know whether or not the individual got off and went to another facility. If he didn't come back to our facility and he didn't go to another active facility, we don't know where he's at. So we technically can't put his name on a BNL list until we confirm that he stayed on that yard. So nobody in the streets knows that he went SNY, that he's no longer a Norteño, that he's labeled a Norteño dropout. So he's selling dope, once again, big time, with his neighborhood. But he just so happens to get a couple of crew members who happen to be Northern Riders at the time. One was named Daniel, the other name was J-Rock, all from Modesto. So he moves into this duplex with some girl. She had kids, he had a son. They moved in together and he's selling dope out of the garage. He's selling dope to Norteños. Norteño has no clue that he's selling dope and he's a Norteño dropout. But it goes on for quite some time. But his homie Daniel happens to go to some party. A party where it was a bunch of Norteños just happened to be there. One in particular, his name was Payaso, worked for the Regiment. And the Norteños at this party in particular around this time that are involved in this case happened to be working for the NF Regiment and answering to a regiment commander named Pizza. So Daniel calls up his homie and was like, hey, bro, I need you to come pick me up, bro. You know, it's getting bad over here, man. And he sounded scared on the phone. So obviously, dude grabs a 357, takes his girl with him. They hop into a Honda and they drive to go pick him up. But the homies that he's kicking with at the time at the house, who happened to be Northern Riders as well, jumped in a white Cadillac and followed them. And they had like a 45 in the truck. So they're following him. They pull up to the house. He calls his homie Daniel and he tells him, hey, man, I'm outside, man, come through. But Daniel doesn't come out. The three Norteños in the house party come out. Rumors went about later during the investigation when the cops got involved that this individual wound up dumping at that house party. It happened to be a birthday party because the mom reported it, saying that some other individuals went and dumped on her son and her friends and destroyed that party, which wasn't the case. That was just rumors and speculations for the defendants. That was their defense. So Norteño Payaso walks up to the vehicle on the passenger side where homeboy's girlfriend's at, and he's looking through the windows, looking at both of them. Another individual stays on the front yard, and another individual gets on the car. Well, dude jumps out his car with the 357. He tells everybody back the F up. Soon as he do that, they shots fired from the front yard, hitting the vehicle. Dude shooting back with a 357. A Northern Rider that's in the Cadillac jumps out with the 45. So now they're just having this big old tombstone standoff shootout right there in the middle of the street. Bah, 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 bah. Nobody gets hit. They're not too far apart from each other, but obviously they're playing a dodgeball game with bullets, and every single one of them dodged every bullet. So dudes get in the vehicle, go back to the pad. Now they install security cameras, and all these dudes are in the garage. They're still selling dope, but they're all paranoid. They're wondering if these dudes are going to retaliate. The cameras are up. They're looking at the cameras. Later on that day, the Norteños jump in their car, and they hit the block 3 times, scoping out the scene. They see it through the security cameras, and they see them stop at the red light, flip the vehicle, come back, and hang out the car and start dumping at the house. But before they can come back, these individuals with all the guns, all these Northern Riders and the individuals that's selling dope, shows up on the side of the house, and they're dumping from the side of the house as these individuals are dumping at the house. Same thing. These fools don't hit nobody in the car, but everybody in the car don't hit nobody in the house, but just hit through the house. So nobody gets hurt. The girlfriend's mad. She's paranoid. She's tripping. They got kids in the house. The dude's like, man, we ain't going to call the cops. Don't even worry about it. We'll take care of it. We'll try to figure this out. Well, cops show up anyways. Look and see nothing but bullet holes. The dude's not cooperating because he has guns and dope in the house. And the girlfriend's not cooperating because she don't like law enforcement, according to everything that went on in this case. So while they're not cooperating with law enforcement has probable cause to search that house. So they detain both the individual and his girlfriend. Run through the house, search it, find a sawed-off shotgun, find a .22 rifle. They found handguns, ammunition. They even found 4 sheriff uniforms and some dope. So bam, they bust dude, arrest him. He goes to county jail. She helps him post bail. He comes back out. So he's going to face court proceedings from the streets. So him and his girlfriend are driving around. They're trying to situate this situation, I guess you could say, because they're trying to make it a point to run into the Norteños that dumped on their pad and try to reach an understanding like, look, fool, you know, it is what it is. I'm selling dope. He's been avoiding paying NF taxes for the longest. They don't even know that he's a dropout yet, but they know the individuals he's kicking it with happen to be Northern Riders. So that's what the big thing is coming about. I think he was trying to say, look, dude, they may be my homies. They just push away from me, but I don't run with that gang. Overall, it doesn't happen. Every time that they try to confront the Nortenos weren't having it. They were not trying to have the discussion with the individuals. So one night, once again, they're selling dope in the garage. It was actually a sleepover. She had a couple of her kids. Her kids had some friends. He had his 10-year-old son in the house. They were all in the house in the living room, so him and his homies go outside, and they're kicking it in the garage, sitting on recliners, drinking a beer, just kicking back. The garage door was halfway open, but it had one of those black nets, like where you stop the bugs and all that, where, you know, the ones you used to see on the commercial, like at 2 in the morning, that you can open it and it connects magnetically. One of those damn nets. So there's a net right there so they can see, but it's dark outside. And they're chilling and they see a couple individuals. Their cars are parked right there on the driveway, and 2 individuals walk up in between the cars and literally stuck their face to the net and was looking through the net like that. All crazy, all weird, all creepy, all peeping Tom. And they asked for him. They asked for his name. He doesn't say nothing, but the girlfriend goes, "Who wants to know?" They say the same thing. "Hey, man, where's so-and-so at?" And the girlfriend, you know, obviously she has some beer balls and she's drunk and she decided to get all crazy with it and was like, "Man, who the F is asking?" Fools didn't even hesitate after that. They had their hands behind their back, pulled forward, started dumping right through the garage. So all these fools hit the floor. Bam. The girlfriend runs right into the house because she's yelling about the kids, man. The kids are gonna get scared. She wants to go protect the kids. She wants to get the kids in the back. So the shots go off for a little bit. There's multiple individuals with multiple guns shooting through the garage. Then it stops for a quick second, and then it starts again. Now they're going through the house. First they were shooting up the garage. Now they're shooting through the house. So dude runs through the house, realizes that his 10-year-old son's not moving, but he's screaming, "Daddy, daddy," bleeding. And he got hit in the back of the head, but he was still conscious enough to scream, "Daddy, daddy," and all the other kids were screaming. He grabs his kid, takes him in for protection, puts him in the back of the house. Fools leave. Now they have no choice but to call an ambulance because his son's bleeding out the back of his head. So while his girlfriend's inside the house with all the kids, he goes to check on the garage. One of his homies named Jason got shot 4 times and he's laying there dead right there in his own garage. So the rest of his homeboys, they wind up running through a fence. So he went over, he knew exactly what they were going to run to, jump in the fence to another apartment. Went over there and confronted them and told them, "Hey, just bounce, fool. The cops are going to come. Just bounce." So they leave. Cops come. They just wanted to call the cops just to get the ambulance for the kid. Same thing. He didn't want to cooperate with the cops. They're like, "Man, I ain't got nothing to say." Well, this individual's involved in yet another shooting incident. So they have another probable cause to detain him again. So now he goes to county. He has no bail. Come to find out, his son passes away in the hospital. Then his homie was already dead on the scene. This dude didn't cooperate until he was pretty much done with his case when he took a plea deal for 10 years in the federal penal system. He finally decided to testify because, you know, his son died during this whole shootout. So they were able to identify the suspect, the Nortenos that happened to be working for the street regiment, that were working for an NF commander named Pizza. But there was a lot of scandalous dealings, underhanded stuff that was going on. A lot of stuff wasn't being reported. A lot of Nortenos were getting hit and getting deemed. There was so much more to this case that I read that I couldn't put in all in one video. But overall, these individuals were NF squad members, regiment squad members, doing all kinds of dirt, selling dope, collecting money, paying taxes, collecting taxes, you name it. Everything that a squad member would do for an NF regiment. But one of the individuals that was in command at the time that was reporting to Pizza as well couldn't report more than half the stuff to Pizza because not only was Pizza doing stuff scandalous and wasn't reporting to Pelican Bay, but this individual couldn't account for everything that was going on in the streets because a lot of these individuals that were working for the squad were doing stuff on their own free will. And it was hard to justify this situation even though they were conducting an investigation because a 10-year-old kid, an innocent 10-year-old kid got shot in the back of the head over his dad selling drugs, his dad not wanting to walk away from the life, his dad hanging with, you know, Northern Riders that happened to be beefing with Nortenos. The dad pretty much made all the worst decisions possible in this case. Going back to his neighborhood, trying to sell dope in his neighborhood, knowing he dropped out and was placing himself in the line of fire and in danger, hanging around Nortenos, selling dope to Nortenos, trying to make extra money. And innocent people got caught up in the crossfire. Obviously, the suspects that went down for both of these murders, they weren't so innocent. But yet they were doing so much scandalous dealings on the streets with NF politics and the regiment politics and all the criminal activities that involve the street regiment. They wound up getting placed under investigation. And I don't know what happened with that investigation, but they got placed under investigation because a 10-year-old innocent kid got shot up And the girlfriend, she actually testified later on. Same time that her boyfriend wound up testifying. At first, she wasn't cooperating neither. She actually blamed the cops because the cops raided their house the first time and took all their guns, all the guns they were in possession of illegally, and said that because they confiscated all these guns, they weren't able to protect their household. And their household, when their household got shot up, they weren't able to protect their kids, and that's why this 10-year-old died from a bullet hole in the back of the head, which I thought that was, illegitimate. That was an illegitimate excuse or reason for it, but she finally testified. And she wound up changing her life around, got a couple of degrees, and they actually put her in the witness protection program and relocated her out of Modesto because she feared retaliation from the NF Regiment that they were going to gun her down for testifying in this court case. But like I said, there was so much more involved in this case. I'm just giving you the brief breakdown of what took place because a 10-year-old kid, and I'm honestly going to say my personal opinion, was the dad's fault for getting caught up on all this drama, going right back to the lifestyle when you gave it up. And he got his own 10-year-old son shot in the back of the head because he wanted to sell dope and he was playing with fire and he got involved with the wrong people who were already involved in criminal activity in the first place. That already knew he was a Norteno dropout. They were just looking for the right time to gun him down. So it's a crazy story. It was an intriguing story, and it was obviously was a sad reality and a sad outcome for everybody. So with that being said, like I always say, it's one life, one chance. We only got one chance to do this right. Let's get it done. Peace.